All right, everybody. Good to see you coming on board. Welcome, one and all. And wanted to let you know that it'll be just me with a special guest here today, in as much as Hubert is on his way to join me. I am currently in Kansas, in the middle of the United States, at Redbird Ranch, which is a corporate retreat place owned by my brother Laird, who is going to be joining us momentarily. To give you a little bit of history, very, very cool. President James Buchanan in 1857 donated this land to Chief Redbird. He was bequeathed this land, and as a result, we have all kinds of Indian things. To give you a sense, yesterday we had an arrowhead expert come over and look for arrowheads in basically what he found we thought might be either burial grounds or campgrounds of the Indians. This morning we went out to the same area and actually found some. So very, very cool stuff. And guys, jump in the chat and let me know you can hear me. Everything good? Excellent. Okay, cool. Thanks, Linda. Appreciate it. So I want to do something a little different today because, oh, by the way, just to give you a sneak preview of what it's like around here, it's kind of like that, right? So there you go. You have a shot of yours truly this morning out looking for turkeys. And by the way, we saw a couple, they walked around, but that was about the end of that. So anyway, it was kind of fun. All right, this is a hunting lodge also. So what we're going to do is something different. I want to take a moment to talk to you from the perspective of your clients. So I've asked my brother to join me. I'm going to pull him up here in just a second. He's a very successful CEO, business guy, and obviously we're close. So as a result of that, as soon as I started jumping into AI, we started having the conversation about AI, the values of AI, and so on. Not something that was super prevalent in his business at that time, but to get the perspective for everybody's benefit of what does your client look for? What are your clients, the people that you're using AI with? What is most important to them? So I thought it'd be very interesting to bring on a successful CEO and have that conversation. What is AI? What did it mean to you? How are you using it? What does the future look like, et cetera, so that we all can get in the mind of the client. What are the things that they actually care about the most so that we can serve them the best and grow our businesses? So I think this is going to be a very interesting kind of hot seat conversation, and I'm going to bring on my brother now. What's very interesting is he is literally sitting outside overlooking the farm and the area where we were walking this morning looking for arrowheads while I'm sitting inside so that we can hear everything correctly. So first of all, I want to say thank you very much, Laird, for joining us today. And we're going to have this conversation. I'm not sure if your video is working. Can you hear me, Laird? Are you hearing me? Okay, I am not hearing you or seeing you as of yet. So you guys can hear me, I know that, but we'll see if we can make this work otherwise. And all right, we'll get this going in just a minute. Give it a second for the internet to connect. And then what I'm going to do, by the way, if anybody has any work that they need to have done, just let me know, raise your hand, etc. Otherwise, I want to show you practical applications of AI. And we're going to go through a whole bunch of them because it's literally something we should be doing every single day. Linda says, welcome, Laird. Thank you, Linda. All right, so let's have this conversation. Thank you, Laird, for joining us. And, you know, a couple of years ago when this whole thing started, we started having this conversation about AI. And I'm curious if you could take us back. What was your initial impression when the whole AI kind of, buzz started happening as a CEO? What was your take on all of that initially?
Well, so I think my very initial take was sounds kind of cool, nothing I'll ever use. It seemed like something that maybe creatives could use, or doctors, or scientists, or engineers that are trying to solve real heavy math problems or technical problems. Certainly nothing that would apply to me. Um, I didn't see where it was going to affect me or my business in any way. And frankly, I was slow to the table. Despite your continued encouragement for me to be involved, I was too busy and too smart in my own world to recognize that there was a tool out there that I really should be employing.
Yeah, I think that's the journey that many people have had, Laird, that there's that resistance to change, that resistance to that new thing, the shiny object or whatever, because frankly, as a CEO, you're trained to resist shiny objects, right? I mean, let's talk about that for a second. It's not unusual to say, hey, don't show me one more thing that I need to learn about, da da da, da, when I'm busy running my business.
Well, and the truth is, and I don't know what the demographic is of all your listeners or your participants today, but as a CEO, you just had a whole lot to do. And so learning some new, what I thought at the time was basically software, um, which come to find out it's not, but I didn't know that. So that was part of my resistance. Like, we have systems here that work really well. The company is flourishing. Why would I take my eye off the ball of true and tried and true things to embrace some new piece of software that wasn't going to help me in any way? So I was resistant slash ignorant. And I can tell you I've come full circle though. 100% different attitude towards it now.
And what do you think? So let's talk about that for a second, because I remember missing several marketing waves as a marketing guy. The initial Google AdWords thing, I kind of missed it because I was like, oh man, it's one more thing. I don't know if this is going to work or not, whatever. What do you think helped make the shift for you to go from I'm not interested in this, I've got too many things going on running my company, to suddenly saying, wait, this is a little different? What was the differentiator for you?
So my personal experience is I went to a couple of seminars on your recommendation, um, by so-called AI experts. And this is now 2 or 3 years ago. And I started to listen to them, started to understand that it's not software that you have to learn. You just have to learn to talk to it more than anything. And then, we write a lot of proposals, Ridgely. We write a lot of reports. And so we started playing with it. And ultimately, now people in the firm are using it for things such as writing emails with a different tone. Um, some clients, you mentioned earlier that you wanted to talk about things from the perspective of the client. Some clients in our field are very, very technical, and they want to read emails or proposals that focus on technicality, or um, whereas others want things dumbed down or more jovial or what have you. And so you can just literally, with AI, you can write an email and then have AI change the tone of the email for you. You don't have to rewrite it. You just have to say, can you take this email and make it more friendly? And the answer is yes, just like that.
Yeah, which is a very simple application for AI. So let's from your perspective of making that transition, what do you see now are the biggest positives for AI in terms of, hey, you're running a company. Yes, it's making certain jobs easier, but what do you think are the pluses for using AI that are at the top of the list?
Well, very tangible for me is time savings. We in our business we write 100-page reports, and the first 30 pages are general demographic information. We're in real estate. General demographic information and background on the area surrounding a certain property that we're looking at. That used to take every bit of a morning, possibly a morning and an afternoon, and now it takes every bit of 6 minutes. and and oh, by the way, if you don't like the output, for example, when I review one of my employees' work, if I don't like the approach that they've taken, they don't have to start from scratch. They can take my comments, insert them through an AI machine, and change it right there. So really, the big one is a time savings for sure. I'd like to reiterate or emphasize here that we are on the very beginning of the AI wave. Yes, it's been around for a few years, but the AI expert today is not the AI expert tomorrow. It's moving that quickly, and I think that I can't think of a business off the top of my head that couldn't benefit from some use of AI.
So what do you think of the notion? So obviously what you just talked about was efficiencies, right? I mean, getting that time saving, that ability to change things, shift things, et cetera. Where do you think it's going from there? So the time saving is pretty obvious. We can get things done quicker, better, faster. But what about the ability to think business wise? Do you think there's anything in that realm that we have upcoming?
Well, I don't think there's any question about it. It is artificial intelligence, and layer that with machine learning, and it's going to start solving. It already has started, but it's going to solve more and more problems all the time. Problems that maybe just regular human interaction could solve. Um, but there's no question that it's going to start solving problems that we don't even know exist yet. Um, we have a friend, mutual friend, Ridgely, who is in the medical field, and they're using AI now to aggregate all the studies that are published throughout the globe, and then consolidate the relevant data in an effort to solve medical challenges. It's so. I think you're going to see all sorts of medical advances. I think you're going to see technology advances. They've been trying to make a hydrogen car for God knows how many years. I mean, I bet that's going to come out like the day after tomorrow.
Now, what do you think about Bill Gates's comment that he believes that AI is going to largely replace many service industries to the point where in the future we could be at a place where we only have to work 2 days a week and have 5 days off?
Well, my first thought is that sounds awesome. I'd like to only work 2 days a week and have 5 days off. Um, I don't dispute that in some service industries. Am I worried about AI creating just widespread unemployment where everybody has lost their job to a computer? I don't think so. I still think that we have a whole lot to learn about it. Um, and you still need the brain's processing to guide it at this point. But a lot of pundits, I think Gates among them, and other people that everyone thinks are brilliant, talk about AI as being as big as the Industrial Revolution, and we're only 4 years into this thing. So my personal feeling is, while it's very useful now, we haven't even scratched the surface on what it's going to do in the next few years.
Yeah, what do you think is going to happen to the people who maintain a resistance? In other words, how big of a disadvantage will it be to those entities, those companies? I think this is very relevant for our mastermind, that push back and say, we don't want to use this, keep it out of our world. I know, for example, that certain small business sectors like community banks are very resistant because they deal with a lot of financial data, so they don't want their people integrating AI into internal systems. But there are many companies that are like that, that are resisting hard. What do you Where do you think they're going to be a few years from now?
Well, I'm trying to think of a good example. Before, and I'm dating myself here, but Lotus 123 was sort of a precursor to Excel. Even Excel is getting dated now, but those people who resisted Lotus 123 and favored paper ledgers eventually came around because they had to.
Mhm.
And I believe that this is way bigger than that. Everybody is going to come around to using AI. It is a matter of time. And therefore, why wouldn't you jump on it now? And if there are CEOs, people in CEO positions on this webinar call, um, do they need to be experts? The answer is no. Do they need to have a solid understanding of what it can do? Sure. Do they want somebody on staff who is paying a lot of attention to this? Unequivocally. And so, do I need to know all about ChatGPT and Perplexity and Apple Intelligence and all the other ones? No, I just need to understand what they can do. And frankly, they're just getting a lot easier to use. And so, go ahead and resist all you want, but the inevitable result is you're going to fall behind. There's just no question about it.
Yeah, it seems as though one of the things that we talk about a lot on the mastermind is how it's not so important to know all these different AIs because they keep leapfrogging each other. First, ChatGPT was ahead in this, and then Gemini passed them, and then Claude passed them, and then ChatGPT passed Claude, and whatever. So as the advances continue, it's almost like there's a global race that just keeps making this tool better and better and better. And one of the things I'm curious about, and this is just changing topics a little bit, but you still have one son in college. Um, at what point are they going to start? Academics sometimes run behind entrepreneurs, right? They're very stuck in their ways. They're very cerebral, if you will. But now smart kids are starting to use AI in their college career, in their coursework, et cetera. At what point do you think the resistance changes over into we as an institution, say Harvard happens to be in the news all over the place, need to get hip to how do we teach our kids to use this tool as opposed to telling them that they can't because they're not going to be learning if they do.
Um, well, so I'm not an academic, so and I do remember there being a lot of politics at the higher levels of academia. So, um, could it be possible that those leading those institutions like Harvard or whatever are older than you and I, and the older generation is generally going to be more resistant to embracing new technology? And I speak from personal experience here. I'm not the youngest guy on the planet anymore. Um, and I'm certainly more resistant than my younger employees. And so I think if those institutions are led by older men and women, maybe that's part of the resistance originally, but I know that my 22-year-old son uh, uses AI to write papers, and I believe that it is blessed by his teachers. In other words, they're not saying you can't do it. They obviously want original thought, and I think they're if they are not there now, there are AI programs that could check other AI programs. In other words, if my son turns in a paper or what have you that is written by AI, I believe that there's another AI program out there that can, verify if it's original work or not. And so some of those games may be played, but I think the entrepreneurial world is the one that's going to embrace it first and has, and that's going to keep going. But if you, I think it is misleading to think that it's not going to keep coming, that this wave is not going to keep coming. And like you said, all those programs are leapfrogging each other. One will come up with, the Chinese had some easier, better, faster product come out 6 months ago or what have you. But what I've noticed is some of the programs are better for technical applications, some of the AI choices, whereas some of them are better for creative applications. So depending on where you are, where your business is, where you're going, where you're trying to achieve, maybe using Perplexity or Gemini is a better choice over ChatGPT. And I think the way to find that out is to test them all.
Yeah. And by the way, Mastermind members, if you want to ask a question of Laird, pop it into the chat, please. A final question here that I have before we get to some other AI things here is what about this huge fear of the ability to impersonate anyone and have it look so real that there's a large possibility of abuse? What do you think? You're a very smart guy. You hang out. You're on the board of a nationwide company, um, and hang out with some really smart people. how do you think we can safeguard against that? What do you think about that? This whole concept of, calling up and having the ability to mimic your voice, your likeness, your whatever, that, potentially is pretty scary, especially for old people.
Um, for sure. And you've heard the stories about AI imitating your voice, and then the so-called bad guys taking that voice and calling grandma up and saying, "I'm in prison. Can you send me $1,000?" I mean, that's happening right now. And do I have a plan on how to preclude that or how to stop that? The answer is no. Luckily, there are people that are a lot smarter than I am in the technical world. But how do I feel about it? It's terrible. I mean, you don't know if you're seeing something on any of the social media channels, you don't know if Donald Trump or Kamala Harris or whoever whoever's voice is being put out there, even video now, you don't know if that's actually been said or not. And what does that say for us as a society? Well, it's not really particularly encouraging, but I'm a skeptic by nature originally, so I challenge everything, and I think that's my own protective mechanism. I don't know how you stop somebody from imitating your voice and likeness. Um, that's just something that we're having to adjust to and deal with as, citizens.
Yeah, no, and for everybody that's out there, the 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 prevailing thoughts that are out about this are that the more respected companies are putting safeguards in place for that, where somebody looking to, for example, to impersonate Laird would need to first get Laird's permission, or that can't go on that platform. So yes, there's some underground places where the nefarious stuff is going on, but on the better programs, they are already safeguarding it. And I think honestly that there's going to need to be some legislation across the world, frankly, to be able to manage against this, because otherwise the misinformation machine is going to get horrendously worse. So
Well,
anyway,
I would suggest to you that anybody who wants to impersonate me really needs to get a life.
well, I will say,
I'm just not that interesting.
yeah, well, some people might disagree. Anyway, Laird, thank you very much for taking the time. I know you're very busy. Really appreciate your insights. Everybody, let's just think when we start thinking about our clients. The number one thing that we talked about is the efficiencies, the time savings, which also means cost reduction. There's a lot of benefits to that. We need to think about what this does for them when we're talking to them and offering them our services. Laird, thanks very
Amen.
much. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on, and good luck to everybody out there. Hope you're enjoying the show. Enjoy the rest of your week.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
We are going to get into got some lots of thank yous coming in here. Appreciate that. We're going to get into some usages of AI. And I've done this a couple times before. It was well received. I really want to encourage all of us to start thinking about how much more can I use this tool? And I thought it would be interesting to take you down a track of what it has done for me in just the last few days. And I'm going to just use one tool. In this case, I'm going to use ChatGPT. And as we've discussed many times, my feeling is learn one tool really well. It's going to serve you really well, rather than jumping all over the place. If you have specialized needs, then obviously you've got to take care of those specialized needs. But otherwise, where are you? Are you a Claude person? Are you a Perplexity person? Are you a ChatGPT person? Whatever you are, learn that thing really well, and it will serve you the most. So I'm going to go to ChatGPT and walk through a number of things that happened in the last week. And some of them, I'm going to start with the easiest first, and then I'll go to more complex stuff. So what happened? So I, as a knucklehead that I am, sometimes don't think, was barbecuing a chicken the other day, and all of a sudden the grease juice from the chickens fell down into the barbecue. A massive fire took over, flames shooting 6 feet in the air. I kept closing it, opening, shutting down the gas, whatever. I'm like, man, this is not good. What do we do? My wife came walking out with a fire extinguisher, and all of a sudden, that was what had to happen. We had to use a fire extinguisher to put out this fire. Now, first of all, I want to cop to being the idiot that didn't bother to empty the grease pan like ever since I bought the barbecue. That's probably a mistake. So for other people that don't want to be as stupid as me, empty your grease pan periodically on your barbecue because otherwise the grease really builds up. Besides that, I had to, right after putting out the fire, making sure everything was safe, I had to say to myself, issue number one, is it safe to eat the food that was on that grill? And I had a sentiment that maybe it wouldn't be. Now, I would have had to go figure that out in the past. But now, using AI, it was as easy as, is it safe to eat the food after putting out a fire in the barbecue using a fire extinguisher? AI instantly comes back with not only, no, it's not safe, but exactly what type of extinguisher, the multiple types of extinguisher that were out there, why it's not safe to eat the food in each of the cases, what are the ramifications of eating that food, all from a simple question. So then my follow-up question is, okay, have I completely ruined my grill, right? And you know, it's not like you don't have to buy a new grill every few years, but spending $500 on a grill was not something that was on my agenda for this week. So next question was, how do I clean this? Is it safe to keep the grill? And if so, how do I clean it? And I was so concerned about this that I actually went to two different tools. I went to ChatGPT, asked the question, and then I asked the same question on Perplexity to make sure that I wasn't making a mistake. And it was simple as, if we have a grease fire in a barbecue, we put it out with a fire extinguisher. If the extinguisher is not near the food, does that make the food still edible? And the answer is no, because of a very fine powder. It's safest to toss the food. And then it talks about a different extinguisher. And then it goes on to say, what's the best way to clean it? Or do I have to throw away and get a new one? And then gives me step one, safety first. Step two, use a vacuum cleaner to remove out the ash or sweep it out. Step three, wash everything down with hot water and soap. Step four, cleanse very thoroughly. Then neutralize the residue with vinegar plus water. Rinse again after, dry completely, burn off the test before cooking again. In other words, there was an entire process that was given to me, and then when to toss the grill instead, right out of using AI. I will tell you, so let me just reiterate your desire, very real desire to empty your grease pan. It was one of the nastiest jobs that I've done in many years. It took an hour and 45 minutes. There was grease everywhere. It was disgusting. So do yourself a favor and empty your grease pan, okay? But AI gave me all of that in a matter of seconds, as opposed to me having to call somebody, figure it out, etc. Right? So let's take it to a little bit more complex. So as many of you know, and many of you may not know, I am a practicing Buddhist. I've been chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, which is a chant that means the fusion to the law of cause and effect through sound or vibration. For over 40 years, I'm a very big world peace activist, participating in festivals like Earth Day and that sort of thing on a regular basis. And about a month ago or so, one of my Buddhist members had a son pass away unexpectedly, right? And we're going to do a ceremony for this person a week from this coming Sunday. And they asked me to get up and speak as the leader of the Buddhist community in Northwest Florida on behalf of the family. The mom is afraid that she cannot get a word out of her mouth without crying and making a scene. So she said, I need you to do all the talking, and then we'll just pay our respects and do a tribute and all of that in the way that we do. And I said, okay, fine, sure, I'll do that. And then I'm thinking, what am I going to say about this? And so my initial reaction was, I look at my library and I see all those books and I start going, okay, well, I could use this book. I could use that book and maybe try this. And I start opening things up. And in the middle of it, and it only took me a few minutes, but this is the thought process that will serve all of us. I said to myself, what if I used AI? What if it would be okay to use AI to come up with this sermon? And so a lot of people might have an instant reaction to something like that. It's like if you're a Presbyterian, you're going to write your Sunday sermon using AI. Is that doable or is that not doable? If you're a Catholic, same thing. If you're Jewish or Muslim, it doesn't matter what you are, but can I use AI to write a sermon representing my spirituality? There might be massive resistance to that concept because of the notion of, whoa, no, you can't do that. It's got to come from the heart. It's got to come from a human, etc. Wait, let's just pause for a second and step back and remember that whether you're opening a book or you're opening this vast resource called AI to create something is not that different. It just happens to be much more intelligent than the book because it can respond back to you and go back and forth. So I immediately hopped on AI and I said, can you please give me the four most requested quotes on death from author Daisaku Ikeda, who happened to be the spiritual leader of the Buddhist community worldwide until a year ago when he passed away. And so it gave me 4 quotes. Death is a doorway to another chapter of life. It's not the end, but a new beginning. To fear death is to misunderstand life. Those who live fully without regret fear nothing, and so on. Cool quotes. But these were not rich enough for what I was looking for. So I said, I'm looking more for passages, particularly one that talks about the happiness of the deceased is largely determined by the happiness of those who survive them. Can you help me? And this blew my mind. All of a sudden, AI says, yes, you're thinking of a profound passage from Ikeda that has touched many hearts. While he has spoken extensively about life and death across his writings, one of the most quoted sentiments aligns with what you're saying in the book called The New Human Revolution. Here it is. The state of happiness of the deceased is largely determined by the state of happiness of those who survive them. If we are sad and overwhelmed by grief, that sorrow will reach the departed. But if we stand up with strength and live each day joyfully, that joy will also be conveyed to them. That is why it is so important that we live with courage and hope. I'm like, yes, that is exactly what I need. So then I said, wait a second. It says, would you like additional passages with similar energy or a short reflection inspired by this one? Yes, please. It's for a memorial ceremony of a young man named Raphael, right? And it goes on to give me multiple passages that I literally can take, pop it into a Google Doc, and suddenly I have a beautiful speech written that would have taken me forever to figure this out. But wait, it goes further. It then says, would you like to create a beautiful handout or printable with these words, perhaps adorned with Raphael's name and a few soft symbolic visuals like cranes, lotus flowers, or stars, which are part of the Buddhist thought process? I'm like, what? And so, of course, I said yes. And it literally printed out a beautiful thing with the name at the top, some great designs, the quote that I was looking for, everything that I now can copy and bring to the ceremony to pass out to all of those people who show up so that they will have a memory of the young man and a memory of this fantastic quote on how to live your life. So seriously, when you start to begin thinking like this all the time, ask almost now I try to train myself that my first thought about something is, what can AI do for me to help me achieve this objective, whatever that may be? So let's take it a little further. And again, all of this is stuff that has happened in the last week. So I'm having a conversation with one of our clients. And this is a client, a dental office, and most of our clients are dentists, as you know, if you've been here for a long time. That's what we cater to primarily as dentists. And David says, AI has now trained you. That's exactly right. AI has trained me is right. And we're talking about starting a paid traffic campaign. And so I don't know why I was having a mental lapse for a moment and didn't do the very easy task of figuring out a couple things before I hopped on the call. Because in paid traffic, when you're going after a particular service, you're not going after necessarily a single keyword. You're going after all the things associated with that keyword. So let's say, for example, that it's creating beautiful smiles. Well, that might be Invisalign, cosmetic dentistry, full mouth restoration, implants, etc. So I'm asking the client, hey, what service do you want to go after? Which is the thing that you need to augment your practice? Where do you want to go? And the client says, well, we really want to go after dental implants. They're highly profitable. A lot of people need them, not just for vanity reasons, but for to be able to chew and eat properly. So that's what we want to go after. So I'm having this conversation. Okay, so tell me, what are the keywords that you think would go after, as your experience as a dentist, what do people look for? And we start coming up with stuff like dental veneers, dental bridges, dental whatever. And then, as usual, I have not, obviously, the AI hasn't trained me well enough, David, or I haven't trained myself well enough. In the middle of this conversation, I'm like, wait a second, I've got another screen over here, right? Let me pop on the screen over here, open up AI, and ask the question, which are the words that are sought after the most for this particular cluster? So I started out with, in terms of a keyword cluster for the dental service of implant, what other keywords would you target? And then it says primary keyword 4. Then it gives me awareness level keywords, general interest. What are dental implants, dental implant procedure, how do dental implants work? Then consideration level keywords, comparing options, best dental implants near me, affordable dental implants, full mouth dental implants. It gives me decision level keywords, high intent, dental implant consultation near me, implant dentist in whatever the city is, top rated implant dentist. Then it gives me long tail keywords, local and specific needs, implants for missing front teeth, dental implants for your city. How long do dental implants last? Brand and service combinations, the name of the practice, dental implants, implant dentistry at, etc. Right? So it gives me everything. Now, why didn't I think of that at first? I don't know. So then I'm going to say, well, wait a second. What are the most searched for keywords for the dental implant space? And it just pulls it up in a matter of seconds. Here we go. 165,000 times a month, dental implants. Dental implants near me is 23,000. Cost is 60,000. All on 4 is 30,000. And it gives me the nationwide stats for this thing that I was looking for. I said, great. It also gives me local ones. And this is particularly valuable because knowing what the nationwide is important, but dentists only operate in a local market within 5 to 10, maybe 15 to 20 miles from their office. So it says high intent local keywords are dental implants near me, implant dentist in, name of the city, affordable dental implants, best dental implant, etc. So I was able, of course, it gives me a whole bunch more information and some strategies, etc. But the bottom line is, in a matter of seconds, by using the tool, I had all of the information to have an informed conversation with this client who was thinking of doing paid traffic with us, which is another service that we're happy to offer. And by the end of the conversation, it was, okay, let's do it, right? So again, thinking about like what Leairard was saying a little while ago, using the tool for efficiency to make the sale itself. And I want to take this one step further because we have a new client coming on board that is a dentist in a very, very competitive market. The market is the market of New Orleans. And this is a client who I met with once, showed them where they were in the rankings and where they needed to be. They're opening up a brand new office, and they initially turned us down as being too expensive, right? So we have a premium service. It's definitely white glove VIP. I never, ever get a dentist without having 1 or 2, sometimes 3 conversations before they sign up because these contracts are $50,000 and above per year. And oh, by the way, when we get one of these contracts, we generally keep them for multiple years. So the lifetime value of a client to us is north of 6 figures, right? On average. So obviously it's worth taking the extra time and figuring this out. So he comes back to me about 2 months later and says, I really do think I'm going to need your services. But the deal is not done yet. He explains that he's opening this brand new office and it's going to happen at the beginning of July. And he wants to use our services to help him market, to get new clients. It's a much bigger office. He's going to have to fill more dental chairs. He's bringing in other assistants. In other words, it's a very much of an expansion of taking his practice to a new level, which means he's got to take his expenditures to a new level to get those patients so that he can make that money back. But he's got to spend the money up front to get that stuff in. So I start thinking to myself, okay, in order to lock this down, what can I possibly do to help this client or prospect? So in other words, I'm doing work ahead of time before the contract is even signed to help this client out so that I can get the business. In the past, that would kind of be ridiculous because it's way too much work for not enough return until you have AI. And so what I did is I said, okay, let's create a campaign for the opening of a new office. Now, because this is a little more complex, I had to spend, instead of 1 minute, maybe 4 or 5 minutes writing this prompt. So let me read the prompt and then you'll see how we were able to take this thinking, what's the end game? What's the end in mind? My job is to get more patients into the office when this dentist opens up. How can I do that? What can I do to help him out? So I wrote, you're an expert copywriter with deep expertise in the dental industry. You are charged with putting together a campaign to welcome former and current patients to a grand opening of a new location of an existing dental practice, Kaminzuli Dental, that is moving down the street from their existing space to a more spacious and beautiful new office. I'm putting all these details in because I want AI to really take advantage of it. It's down the street. It's a more spacious office. It's beautiful. Said, we want to bring in as many patients as possible to the new office and are looking for the top creative ideas to motivate them to come in, from bonuses to welcomes to celebrations. What are the top 10 most effective ideas to accomplish this objective? Right? AI responds, and I love the way AI is learning how to be more friendly to the querier, in this case me. Absolutely. A grand opening for a new location is a prime opportunity to re-engage current patients, reactivate former ones, and make a splash in the community. Since Kaminzuli Dental is already established, this campaign should celebrate growth, express gratitude, and invite patients to be part of the next chapter. Here are the top 10 most creative ideas. And then it goes through. Now, this is where, and this is super important, this is where the human mind must come in and think of things in context. So idea number one is smiles and mimosas, an open house event with light bites, etc. Number two is a golden ticket giveaway, opened only at the event. Number three is be our first VIP appointments. Number four is a ribbon cutting photo op and free shots. Number five is bring a friend, both get a bonus. Number six, grand opening limited time offers. Number seven, a before and after wall of fame. Number eight, we've moved surprise box. Number nine, a community love wall. And number 10, partner with local businesses. Now I see these, and as the business person who uses AI as a tool, I have to very quickly analyze these and say, Smiles and Mimosas, open house event, that's a one-time thing. Don't think that's going to be all that great. Golden ticket giveaway, maybe that could work. Be our first VIP appointments, that could work also. Ribbon cutting photo op and free headshots. Again, one-time event, it costs money. Only a few people are going to be able to be there. Don't think that's a good one. Bring a friend, both get a bonus. That could work. Grand opening limited time offers. Sure, that could work, but let's think about how we do that. The before and after wall of fame, that's something that takes a lot of time to create. That's not exactly a great idea for an opening. The We've Moved surprise box, that could work. Community love wall, great. Partner with local businesses, that takes a lot of effort of going out with local brands, trying to create cross promotions. So some of these ideas are great, but some of them really aren't that great. And that's not AI's job to figure that out. That's your job to say, hey, It says here, would you like me to turn this into a complete campaign with emails? So I go, yes, please. And then it gives me the whole thing, campaign timeline, 4 weeks before and 2 weeks after the grand opening, an email sequence, what to do, join the celebration, etc. And as I'm looking through this, I'm thinking, no, this is not what we need that's going to serve the client the best. It says, would you like me to format this into a downloadable PDF? And my response is no. I'd like to make the grand opening a month-long celebration, not just a one-night affair. Can we adjust for that, please? Notice the business intelligence had to come from the human mind, in this case, mine. However, the work can still be done by the tool. Really important to remember this when you're working with your clients. You got to figure out what is the end in mind, that what are they looking for, what are they looking to accomplish, and how can you use the tool to help them do that, knowing that you have to instruct the tool. You are the person with the toolbox, if you will. So AI responds, turning the grand opening into a month-long celebration is a brilliant move, builds sustained excitement, allows more patients to participate, duh, that's what I'm looking for, and gives you flexibility to layer in promotions, surprise perks, and share-worthy moments. Here's a revised campaign. And now it comes back with 30 days of smiles, a full month of celebration at Kamenzuli Dental. Way smarter. Then it says, week 1, ribbon cutting and radiance. Week 2, smile and win week. Week 3, bring a friend week. Week 4, patient appreciation finale. And it goes and starts to create the emails. And I'm like, wait. That sounds good. But once again, we're limiting the people who participate in the ribbon cutting and the smile and win week and the bring a friend week to those who participate that particular week. So again, my business intelligence has to come back in to give a new instruction to the tool. I don't have to do the work, but I do need to give the instruction. So the instruction goes to, I want to make the campaign go throughout the month, where any of the bonuses are available at any time so that we can remind patients of them constantly throughout the month. Can we adjust for that, please? And AI comes back with, perfect. Shifting the campaign to allow any of the bonuses at any time during the month makes it even more flexible and exciting for patients, etc. In other words, I hope everybody's tracking with me. It's still the tool, AI doing the work, but we have to contribute the business intelligence and tell the tool what to do. So now we go to a month of smiles. We've moved, and every visit this month comes with something to smile about. Then, what's the celebration window? The entire month. All-inclusive bonuses. And now we have the all-inclusive bonuses, right? And some of them I still don't like. For example, the free professional headshot is still there. I don't like that one, but I like all the others. All those could be happening all month long and be really cool. And then it gives me the email campaign once again. So again, back to the same thing. I'm the one giving the instructions here. So what can I do? It says here, I gave the instruction, let's remove number 4, which was the headshot that would cost money and exclude people from the campaign. It says, got it. We'll remove number 4, free professional headshot, from the list and update the month-long bonuses for your Month of Smiles campaign. And then it goes back and says, here are the bonuses available anytime this month. They're all there, right? And now it says, would you like me to proceed with revised email draft, postcard copy, or a new asset? I've been doing a lot of work here for a while. This was a longer project, by the way. It wasn't 5 or 6 minutes. This was more like 20. Again, we're not talking hours, folks. We're only talking minutes. It's just maybe a few more minutes. So then I said, give me a summary of the whole campaign that I can present to Dr. Kamenzuli. And here we go. And I was able to look at this. It looks great. Grand opening campaign summary for Kamenzuli Dental. The objective: to celebrate the opening to a larger, more beautiful office by welcoming current and former patients, encouraging visits throughout the month, creating buzz in the community. It will strengthen patient relationship, generate referrals, and boost cosmetic treatment bookings. So then we go. Campaign timing, 1 full month. Location, new office. Theme, a month of smiles. Bonuses for every patient, all month long. Every patient who visits during the month will receive, and then here they are. Notice that some of these are really smart. The $100 cosmetic credit is a credit toward a cosmetic treatment like a veneer or a smile makeover. Well, $100 sounds very generous, but those treatments are thousands and thousands of dollars. It's a tiny piece of marketing budget for this client. The bring a friend bonus, both receive a $50 credit. Hey, I bring a friend over to a celebration, $50 credit. Swag bag or surprise gift can be something that includes a flyer with another bonus in it, another incentive to come back. And the Smile Love Wall is something that is very interactive with somebody. You have their markers ready to go. You say, hey, we'd love to have your message on our wall. Great. So then we got the 5-part email sequence. I've got the grand opening announcement, list of perks, mid-month reminders, a final push, grand prize winners, thank you. We've got the social media campaign. Now we go to in-office signage, promote the available perks, encourage participation in the Smile Wall, build excitement about the prizes. We've got a direct mail postcard because Dr. Kamenzuli mentioned to me that he was going to do a 5,000 to 10,000 postcard drop to the nearby area. We can use AI to write that. We have the key goal, increase foot traffic to new location, boost cosmetic consultations because those are the ones that make Dr. Kamenzuli the most money, reactivate lapsed patients, and deepen loyalty with current patients, and generate new referrals, right? So then it says, let me know if you'd like this formatted as a brand PDF or presentation. I can also prepare a one sheet with visuals if you're sharing with staff. So they gave me the one sheet, right? And what I was able to do is put the one sheet in an email to Dr. Kamenzuli, and then put the entire plan in a Google Doc, tighten it up just a little bit, and send that, hey, Dr. Kamenzuli, this is kind of what I'm thinking right here. I fleshed it out more fully for you in this Google Doc. The Google Doc has pictures, it has emojis, it has all kinds of stuff. What do you think this guy's thinking at this point about somebody who doesn't even have a contract signed with him yet, who's done what looks like a massive amount of work to celebrate the opening of his new office, to bring in lots of new patients, to activate old patients, and to basically help offset the costs of this new office and offset the cost of hiring our company to become his marketing agent, right? So I then sent him the thing, and he immediately came back with, wow, this is brilliant. Thank you for all of the work that you've done. I really appreciate it. Do you think we can use this to create a direct mail piece, your AI or your skill set or whatever it was? I can't remember what he said exactly. And I said, of course, absolutely, we can do that. And now, not only do I have a new client, but I wait, even before the engagement begins, I have locked in a measure of trust with this client, and a thought process that he's thinking to himself, man, I just got a huge bonus to work with these guys, as opposed to, by the way, the people he was working with before who gave him reports that he could not interpret or understand. So again, just in the last few weeks, you've seen me do this for the purpose of cleaning a barbecue. And saving a barbecue, actually. You've seen me use AI for the purpose of writing a memorial speech. You've seen me use AI to do keyword research and help create a paid traffic campaign. And you've seen me use AI to create a total grand opening campaign month long for the purpose of demonstrating to a prospect who is now becoming a client that we provide great value and want to be their marketing agency of choice for many, many years to come. So I hope that's valuable to everybody. Really wanted to just kind of give you a sense of, keep thinking, keep asking yourself, wait, how else can I use this tool? What else can I do with AI to get myself to the next level? How else can I serve my clients? And if you're not clear on the answer, ask AI how you can do that, right? And then have an iterative conversation. Remember, AI will continue to go back and forth with you for as long as you need until you get the answers. All right, I am going to the airport to pick up Hubert. I want to let you know next week, we will be meeting on Thursday, the 1st of the month at 5 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Eastern time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific. So mark your calendars for next week on Thursday, 5 Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. Hope that was valuable. Thank you very much to Leairard for jumping on board and participating in a great interview. And I'll see you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.